name is Onyinye. I'm a student at Taos University, and I'm currently a mass communications major. Okay, so my passion is public speaking. I love public speaking, and I usually talk about issues that I'm passionate about. Women empowerment, other social issues like equality for all people and stuff like that. All right, so public speaking can take on many different forms. We have, of course, like the traditional public speaking, standing behind a podium, expressing your thoughts or ideas. But there are other forms as well. Spoken word is considered a form of public speaking. We also have dramatic proses. You can do poems. So different forms of public speaking that people aren't really aware about. I wasn't always comfortable with public speaking. I think it was 8th grade where I'd done an assignment, and I practiced so hard for this assignment, and when I finally presented the assignment to the class, it just came very naturally. It just kind of flowed. And from there, that kind of inspired me to really look into it. It wasn't until maybe my junior year of high school where I really started to do competitions. People just always said that I was good. My oral communication skills were really good. And I was very well spoken, so I decided to give it a try, and I ended up just falling in love with it. Public speaking is almost like my art, and like how people create music, how people write poetry or writing in general. Public speaking is my art. The way that I put words together, the emphasis I put on each word to create a meaning or a feeling from the audiences. That's my art, and that's what I love about it. And in terms of pursuing public speaking, I don't know, it was just kind of like the comments here and there, like, oh, she's very well spoken, and stuff like that really made me want to pursue it. It wasn't really any one person. I think the one person I could say that really understood why I loved public speaking as an art was probably a teacher named Miss Kennard. That actually, she wasn't my personal teacher, but she was a teacher at Springbrook, the high school that I went to. And she understood how public speaking to me was an art form rather than just a skill. And I really appreciate her for pushing me and really pushing me to be my best at what I do. My style of public speaking, my style is very conversational. In a sense, a lot of the way that I write my speeches is very conversational tone. If it's a serious topic, I do try to inject some humor, but I am very much myself. I don't really take on too many different personas when I'm speaking, unless it's something that is outside. If it's a topic or a structure in which it's outside of my comfort zone, then I might take on a persona to be able to fulfill that vision. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach my writing for my speeches and stuff. So I've done speeches on leadership, taking leadership and taking kind of an abstract look at different types of leadership and how we kind of view leadership as a person that's very outspoken and very out there and charismatic, and we don't necessarily look at people who are quieter as leaders, but more so followers. So this hierarchy of what leadership and followers are supposed to be, and I don't like that. I don't like that. In a society that we only look to charismatic and outgoing people to lead us, and people that are quieter and kind of more introverted can have amazing ideas and amazing ways of thinking. We don't ever really acknowledge that as a society. I think one of my favorite speeches I have written so far is probably my one on criticism. And that one on criticism, I decided to put a twist on it because at first I was doing bullying. I was trying to figure out why there's bullying, why there's such hatred, cyberbullying, bullying in schools, etc. But then I wanted to broaden the topic a little bit because I think bullying is kind of one of those issues that have been pushed over and over again, and because it's been pushed so many times, people become apathetic towards the issue. So I wanted to do criticism and how harsh criticism is affecting our society, because at the end of the day, bullying is criticizing others who are not like you, or otherizing or minimizing other people. And that's really where the foundation of bullying comes from. So I kind of did an experiment with this speech at first. I took some pictures of myself in a bikini, and I'm flawed all over the place, so you know, I'm not perfect. But I asked my class that I was presenting it to really be critical, to be really honest with what they thought about my body, not knowing that it was my body they were critiquing at the time. So I did that, you know, and I started explaining what criticism is, and you know how people of the generation before us, like the baby boomers and Gen X, don't think that it's not necessarily us being not us being so critical of each other, but not being able to take criticism. But I did point out the fact that there's a difference between constructive criticism and hatred, and I feel like a lot of the criticism, quote unquote, criticism we get is a lot of it comes from hatred. And so at the end of it, I read some of the comments that, you know, the students had made in the class. And then after that, I revealed that it was my body, and it was interesting to see the people's reactions to what they thought, and to really realize how hurtful those words can be, and those critiques, and especially when you start critiquing someone's physique or critiquing who they are as a person, their culture, their ethnic group, their religion. It's not necessarily critiquing those things, but it's saying that who they are, or those things that make up that person, is not valuable, and that because of that they're not worth the value of a human being. And that was what I was trying to get at with that. And I think for a moment there, when I read those, after I read done the speech and I really reflected on my speech, I did have a twinge of hurt, because it's like, so is it because that I have all these flaws that make me less of a woman, that does make me less of who I am as a person? And for that split second, I started thinking that it made me realize what bullying is really about, and why so many kids are suffering in pain, and so many kids have, you know, committed suicide because of it, because they don't feel they are worthy of the world, they don't feel they are loved by other people, known and unknown. And I think that is really the root and the essence of what bullying is. I think when people really start to understand that you're not criticizing who they are, you are devaluing people, you're devaluing human beings. I think from there we can start to move forward and solving issues like bullying, among other things. So things like that, I think just ideas like that, taking very concepts that we all know, really trying to make people think differently about them, is what I love to do, writing my speeches. And I always learn from them. I always learn when I get the feedback. I always learn, you know, how people react to it and what other people are thinking, and that also inspires me as well.
Being a public speaker, how do you view the world?
Oh gosh, I view the world in a very almost abstract way. My thinking about life isn't very linear at all. It's kind of like all over the place. I really do take time to really think about who I am in this world, my place in this world, how I've gotten here, and really to, at the end of the day, anything that I do public speaking wise, any project that I do, hoping to impact people in a certain way, or just leave people with a thought. I hope that at the end of the day, maybe a couple days from now or a year from now, they'll have listened to my speech, and then they'll think back and think, oh, I remember that girl said this, or that was a concept that the girl presented, and now this is how it applies to my life, or how it doesn't apply to my life. So really leaving people with a thought or something to think about I think is always very important, no matter how controversial your topic may be. So.
And what do you wish to accomplish with your speaking skills?
I hope to impact the world in a different way. Public speaking is really kind of been minimized to a skill and not really an art form. And I really truly believe in this art form. It's a form of creativity. I mean, anybody can be a public speaker, but I think to really reach people, to really touch the lives of people, I think really it has a knack. You have to have a knack for it, and I think that's where the creativity and the artistry and the abstractness of the speaking comes in. So I just hope to be able to impact people all over the world with my speaking.
What inspires you?
Probably people's stories. Me talking to people and, you know, finding out who they are, what they believe in based on their life experiences, what they observe, I think really inspires me. I think anything and everything in this world, any issue in this world is made up of people's stories, people telling the same story over and over and over again, and that's why it's become known as an issue or a social issue or a fact in many societies. And I think that in itself, though, learning people's stories and hearing people's stories, I think inspired me so much every day. So.
How does your family, friends, and loved ones see your vision?
They're not. I think because a lot of my friends, for my friends particularly, a lot of them are very logical. They're not necessarily abstract people or abstract thinkers. And you know, a lot of my speeches again come from speaking to people about different topics and just having general conversation. And when you don't really have friends that kind of embrace that or are able to talk about those types of issues and stuff like that, it does get hard. And I think particularly because I am young, I am 18, so I am young. So it's, again, I think even within my age group, it's hard to find people like that. And it's like it's not until I get much older and around my 20s, mid-20s, where I really start to find people like that. So it is hard in that sense. And in terms of my family, I love my family. I know my family wants the best for me, but I don't really think they understand my vision. They understand where I'm coming from. And I am a visionary. I'm a huge visionary. I dream very big. And I think when people mistake being a visionary, being so confident in your dream, and that's not necessarily true. Like it's scary to think that big, considering the limitations that I have. Being who I am, my name, being black, being a woman, and also look at the job market, the economy, not just in the United States but all over the world. It's not that great. So to really try to make it, I think this idea of making it and being successful, and trying to do that in the way that I envision of doing it, I think it makes it that much harder. But I hope to find people and to find friends that really will understand where I'm coming from, and even if they don't quite understand it, they can still help embrace the ideas that I have and the visions that I have for myself and for other people around the world, not just me. And I hope they can help me just support that. That would be helpful.
What other mediums do you wish to dabble in order to push your vision further to the world?
In terms of public speaking, I think public speaking is such a flexible art that it can be expressed in so many ways. You can do it in movies, films. So I do want to do films. I do want to do short films, be a producer on a film, write scripts, write meaningful stories with substance, and really leave people with thought in that way. I think I will focus on media for the majority of my lifetime. Just working in media and just dabbling in that. And media is constantly changing with social media coming up now. People really don't know where that's going to really take us in the next 10 years. So being able to keep up with that trend and to see what I can do there and see how I can push push my vision there. Also YouTube, again, the internet, using those types of sources to really help create this vision or help keep these pieces of this vision together.
And finally, what advice would you give to a young aspiring speaker like yourself?
I don't know. I guess just go for it. Just do it. I'm young myself, so I'm still learning the ropes of it all. But I think really just to go for it, because I think when you say public speaking, people are like, oh, that's awesome. But then it's like when you're really passionate about it, people are like, wait, what? It's a little awkward. It's not something that's not a typical or a traditional move, like career path to be a public speaker, to be a motivational speaker. So I would just say go for it, and really just to practice, really take as many public speaking classes. So if you're going into college, take as many as you can. I've taken 2 so far. I'm planning to take more. Really get to understand what communication is about, particularly oral communication. but not only just oral, but nonverbal cues, gestures, and stuff like that, because that will really enhance your understanding of what communication is, and that will help you, improve in your own speeches how you want to convey your message through not just your words, but through your gestures as well. So stuff like that. So, who am I? Well, I'm a girl. I'm a girl who's black. Yeah. I like food. Yeah. So I'm a black girl that likes food. I'm wearing a red shirt. Yeah. I'm a really boring person. So I think I'm gonna talk about my friend, who's a lot more interested than me. Sorry, Professor, I know I was supposed to talk about myself. I'll get back to that later. So, I have this friend, and she has two sides of her. She has her normal, everyday self, and then she has something that I like to call her Mama Africa alter ego. So, for example, when there's African food around, like okra soup with gatti, or jollof rice with meat, this is what she'll say. She sees the food, she's like, hey, good food, and she just loves the food, the print, the clothing, the comedy, and the movies. And she never stops talking about this movie called A Sophia in London. And pretty much it's about village men that can go to McDonald's to order African food. I mean, as weird and interesting as it all is, I really respect her for embracing her African culture. It makes her unique. And along with being African, she loves to talk. I mean, the girl can talk your ear off if you allow her. And she doesn't talk to talk, just to hear her own voice. She likes to discuss and debate topics that really matter to her. And she actually likes public speaking. I don't know how or why, but she does. Like, as I stand here, you guys are staring at me, I'm staring at you guys. Some of you guys are thinking, oh my god, that party was so rad last night. And then the other half of you are like, when the hell is she gonna shut up? But she's good at what she does, and more power to her. I hope she works hard, and eventually she'll be known for her work. So my friends and I, we've been friends forever, and all her life she's gotten made fun of her name. In kindergarten, she always had to correct her teachers on how to pronounce her name. She's gotten weird pronunciations like Onion Chuck, Onyinye. And then you got the teachers that read the name on the roster like, what the hell is this? And then you try to start spelling out the name like, is this person Onyinye? Is she here? Can you please raise your hand? And then after correcting them on how to pronounce it, they're like, oh, that's a beautiful name. And we all know they're lying. Just kidding. But yeah, she says sometimes it sucks to have a hard to pronounce name, but her name makes her unique. Not a lot of people think of their name as their legacy. Onyinye. It means a gift from God. And she thinks that her legacy is to be a gift and to share a gift with the world. She doesn't know what that gift is, but she knows it's something big. So you'll know her name soon enough. Watch out for it. So back to me. So, I'm a girl. I'm a black. So that makes me a black girl, if any of you guys were confused. I like food. I have black shoes on. The weather is kind of nice outside. Yeah, I know that had nothing to do with me. Yeah. Still a really